until noon tomorrow. We know that many of you are just now coming home, joining us, and so we want to walk you through what has gone on both here in New York City and in Washington. We go to Atlanta and our colleague Joey Chin. Joey, good afternoon.
Aaron, extraordinary coverage there on the rooftops in New York of this extraordinary and horrific series of events that we have been watching throughout this day here on CNN. Acts of terrorism, and it's such an unprecedented scope and scale. It is really quite difficult to follow, and quite frankly, there had been an enormous amount of confusion as all of these events were unfolding through the day. So we are trying as best as we can to try to walk you through all this now, to bring you all up to date on what we know about the events that have taken place today. Beginning at 8:45 this morning, that is Eastern time, when the World Trade Center, the workday was well underway there in Lower Manhattan, an airliner crashing into one of the twin towers of the Trade Center. The people in New York, and then very quickly people all around the nation watching just terrible horror as the thick black smoke billowed from the tower. But that, as it turned out, as it proved, was really just the beginning. 18 minutes later, just 18 minutes later, you see in the highlighted picture there on the right side another very big commercial jumbo jet moving towards the other tower of the World Trade Center, and there you see again the explosion taking place on camera for all to see, quite apparently, quite specifically designed to do that. That was at 9:03 Eastern. Cameras were trained on the two twin centers. Of course, you know that the Trade Center was the target of a terror bombing back in 1993, which killed 6 people. The attack injured so many more, and it really does pale in comparison to what we are seeing today, although, as you just heard from the mayor of the city of New York, nobody wants to make a guess yet on what the final toll will be. In the middle of all of this, suddenly Washington became a target. You see it here. This is the Pentagon, which we always view as some sort of an impenetrable fortress. Pentagon, the symbol of the nation's military might, also a command post today. Pentagon racked by the explosion that occurred at 9:45 this morning. Witnesses say that the commercial aircraft crashed into the Army side of the building. That has been confirmed by authorities. Is about this time that the federal government ordered all the nation's airports closed and ordered all planes in the air to get on the ground. And as you just heard from Aaron Brown, commercial aircraft will not be in the nation's skies again until sometime tomorrow. Now we'll move ahead to 10 o'clock Eastern. The first of the two Trade Center towers collapses, and you see the tremendous plume of smoke and debris left. This is an image we cannot forget. That was the visual sighting, and you see really just almost an explosion, an implosion, as it just gave away all that was left, the ash falling from the top of the tower as it came down. 29 minutes later, the second Trade Center tower collapsing. We can report that we know some 50,000 people work daily in the area of the Trade Center buildings. These towers are U.S. landmarks. They receive tens of thousands of visitors each day. The mayor of New York City has said that he does believe a horrendous number of lives has been lost in the course of this tragedy, but he did not want to wager any sort of speculation on what the final toll would be. At least one witness told us that in the moments before the buildings collapsed, he saw people leaping to try to save their own lives from the Trade Center towers. Back in Washington, we get a closer look at what occurred at the Pentagon. What was left, the great flames in the gaping hole of the Pentagon, apparently left by that hijacked plane that crashed into the Department of Defense. Again, we're told this is the Army side of the building of the Pentagon building, which of course has 5 sides. Now, commercial aircraft, we also know, has crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. That is southeast of Pittsburgh, about 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh along I-76. A report says that just before the crash, a passenger who was on board telephoned 911 saying that the plane had been hijacked and trying to get help. Now that would explain the crash there for all 4 planes